Asia joining us, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome to day 3. We made it all this way through day 1, day 2, 2.5 hours virtually. And so this is our last day, our last session. And I think it's a very exciting one because we get to hear, on day 1, we had inspirational speakers from the panel of coaches. On day 2 as well. On day 3, you are our inspirational speakers because you are going to share the process that you've been through and where you're at with it and what kind of ideas came up. Yesterday, it became quite clear from the feedback that you provided how rich the process of getting brainstorming and lots of good ideas and inputs from different people, how rich that was. And so now today, we're going to funnel all of that richness into hopefully some key ideas or prototypes of things that we could test on the ground. So there's not much more introduction at this point, I think, from my side, because we all know each other by now. I think we might have one person that's new to the process, but we can get those who are new today up to speed, either separately or in the group that they might be joining. If we have some missing people from yesterday from the groups, we might just reshuffle and merge some of them or keep you separate. That's, something for you to discuss with your coach, whatever your preference is. As we said before, it's about the journey. It's not about the outcome. It's about the learning. It's about the cross-pollination and hearing from other colleagues. So, up to you and your teams how you want to best make that use of time and energy. Anything else that came up maybe now that you're landing here on day 3, about to or with some time to prepare and present your ideas? Any insights or learnings or sharing that you want to do with the rest of the group before we get cracking? I love your colors, Janina, today. They're very inspiring.
Thank you, Sally.
Anything that excited you? What excited you the most about yesterday? What excites you the most about today? Silence. I wonder how will that look like when we're presenting our ideas? Let's get the group steered that up a little bit. Hola, Teresa. Bom dia.
Olá, bom dia.
How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Yes.
And I was thinking of saying something because when I started these meetings, I thought it would be very difficult because long hours and 3 days, and all of us, we are so busy nowadays. But I realized it was very interesting and very important because here we can actually see the different points of view of the food system. And for me, it was very, I listened a lot about the farmer's point of view and the extensionist point of view. And I could see how we fit together and how it is necessary to find solutions that can connect those dots. Otherwise, we are just, pulling the strength in one side of the chain and the other side is weak. So I think it was very good and very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So such wonderful words. And I don't know if you're familiar with this idea. We use it a lot in in Argentina, there's that Spanish expression of dress me up slowly because I'm in a hurry. So, you know, this idea of slowing down in order to speed up, right? And we tend to be in this crazy busy doing mode with absolutely no space for taking a pause, taking a balcony view, sharing, reflecting, learning, taking stock of everything that we do and others do. And I think what you are highlighting is that value of carving a space for sharing, for learning, that doesn't necessarily translate into ticking the box of answering 10 emails or finishing one deliverable from the work plan. But it does help probably speed up those things once we go back into that business as usual. So yeah, that is definitely one of the biggest intentions of this workshop, to create that space for taking a step back, for pausing and really learning from each other, so that we can go back into the doing transaction business as usual mode eventually, but hopefully a bit more inspired and also learning from others. What about you, Cristiano? What are your thoughts? I see you're very close in my mosaic of pictures.
I really liked your cross-pollination words this morning. It was very nice to hear. So that's how I feel. These 3 days has been very intense, but I'm learning a lot and I'm enjoying the experience of coaching. I was very anxious at the beginning, but now I'm more relaxed and enjoying it very much. So thank you very much for inviting me for this. It was great.
Excellent. Cristiano, thank you. And I've had the privilege to see you in action coaching, and it's really working super well, and you have a natural talent for it. So thank you for leaning towards that and showing up to play a bit with us. And also, Sandra, thank you for your insights on the richness of the group, the knowledge and experience. Yeah, it is definitely there.
Maria, I can add something.
Yeah, of course, Marlon.
You can hear me. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone for sharing and allowing others to learn from your experiences. I just wanted to mention a couple of points. One is that being here, not full time these last 2 days, but enough to understand a little bit. I see that we are still navigating through dense fog in terms of extension services. I think we need to do that. We have the capacity to actually rethink and redesign what is an extension service model in the for the next years, for the years to come. There's a lot of I don't know if you would agree to that, but many people still have the idea or gravitate around what extension services were in the 60s and how they were designed and how they were centralized at the ministries of agriculture, for example. We live now in a time of decentralization, which is advancing, but decentralization also means less capacity at the local level. The focus on single target, like farmers, which I said this yesterday, might not be a feasible model in the future. So I was thinking of really clarifying. It's good to really understand what has been the history of extension services, how they were designed, how they were financed, what were their goals, what did they achieve, and think about what's the one for the future. perhaps we need to change from the traditional extension service model to think about a business model, a business extension model, because we need to connect farmers. We need farmers to make good business. That's what's going to create sustainability in the future. Theory does not create sustainability. But if farmers get a decent income, a living income, or beyond the living income, and we can strengthen that with an extension service, which is has a technical element, but also has the business element, which is critical for sustainability, we might be starting to get on the right path to do that. And then, of course, I've been thinking about how we design our projects, like the FOLUR projects, for example. We have 27 countries coming with FOLUR projects in GF8. And I've looked at that and done a preliminary analysis of the opportunities for example, working on business models. They are for different commodities, and there are over 40 different opportunities across this portfolio of projects. So, but having a FOLUR project which has, let's just say, to round a number, like $10 to $15 million budget, and try to address every single root cause problem, it just doesn't work very well. So when you think about extension services, arguably, we can even consider developing one powerful initiative or a project or whatever it is, just to create this model of extension services. Because having a small component in a project which you allocate 1 or 2 million that barely scratches the landscape that we want to affect, it's in reality it's not working very well. So this workshop has been very inspiring to clarify where we are and start seriously considering where are we going in terms of extension services. I stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marlon. Incredibly inspiring. And actually, you are inspiring me to think about, whether we should continue this conversation and maybe convene a group of people that would be interested in looking deeper at what you're saying and use this methodology or any other, it doesn't matter, for the purposes of, exploring what that could look like. One thing I've learned in my time here at UNDP is that there is that possibility of entrepreneurship in a way. And, if we are passionate about taking farmer extension services to a different level, then, why not? Why not start dreaming about it and making it true, hopefully, with years and effort. So yeah, let's continue that conversation. And maybe some people from this group or other cohorts may want to join as well and contribute. There's so much technical expertise as well in this room that it's very powerful what could be achieved. So thank you very much for that lovely provocation. I'm going to pass it over to you, Fabian, if you wish to walk us through what the day is going to look like in the agenda. And yeah, maybe we can also park this problem solving 2.0 with Marlon and also with Patricia and the different countries and have a stock taking moment later on. Thank you so much. Over to you, Fabian.
Yes, hello also from my side, and welcome to the day 3. And yeah, so this day will look like the following. Yesterday, some of the groups already started with the brainstorming, so creating ideas based on the analysis and the discussions you had. Maybe today we are continuing a bit with the brainstorming depending on where the group is, but then it's all about prioritizing the ideas. So selecting one idea which you want to take a step further in this workshop. Of course, we are still limited in time, But nevertheless, we think it's really helpful if you then select one idea just for today and discuss this idea a bit more in detail with the group in order to get it more concrete and also, maybe even find more insights in developing the idea further. And after then a short reflection on the day, on the days and the methods, we have a short break and then we go into a presentation. And this presentation is nothing to be afraid of. We just want to use the time, as we have so much knowledge in the room, to share the ideas that each team has come up with. So it's just about a 3-minute super short presentation of your idea and of the thoughts you put into, and maybe a bit about the process. So that will be the highlight of the day, basically, to also then start into the closing of the workshop. So after the exchange, we will then have a reflection together and then close this 3-day workshop at 11:30 Panama time. And just one sentence on the methodology again. So today, as I said, some of you will still work with the brainstorming and maybe with the inspiration cards we have there from yesterday. And today we have 2 shorter methods where we want to support you in choosing the ideas. So kind of thinking about which ideas are the most promising and also having a discussion here. So for that, we have created kind of a matrix on the left side, you see here, where you can evaluate the idea. And then we have also a template for you where you can put down and detail out the idea to make it more tangible. So basically a lot of questions are in there which support you in making the idea, which is maybe in the beginning quite vague or only is one word, to make it really concrete. Yes, so that's basically what we want to do today. And looking at the time, I would say, without further ado, let's just jump right in and use the time to work in the groups, continue brainstorming and selecting the idea. And so we will meet back here on 10:30 Panama time. So roughly 1.5 hours. No, 1 hour and 50 minutes. And then we will have a short break. But for now, I wish you great teamwork of today and inspiring conversations. So, back. Is everyone there? Yes. Great. Wow. I imagine it was quite a ride, the last one, and roughly 1 hour and 50 minutes. I would, without further ado, just let's do a break as we want to have the presentation afterwards. So grab a coffee and stand up and stretch a bit before we go to the final presentation of this workshop. So let's just meet back in 5 minutes. Around 35, 36 past. And first of all, thank you for all the energy you put in. We are well aware that these formats are really taking a lot of energy, but hopefully also giving a lot of energy back in inspiration, in new perspectives and good conversations. So thanks for everyone who participated till now. The presentation, as I said in the beginning, we keep it really pragmatic. So it's really about just sharing the idea you developed and maybe a bit about the process. And as we are around 6 teams, we only have put now 3 minutes for the presentation, so that's really short. So please try to give a crystal clear short summary of your idea. And I think also later on, if people want to know more, they can then contact each team and discuss further. So for that, I will now share my screen. Yes. So also, I think everyone was really involved in their challenge. And so just as a recap, we have the challenge one, which was about low capacity and coordination between the extension providers, and team A and B worked on that. And then we have challenge 2, which was about ineffective knowledge management, and challenge 3, which was about insufficient funds. Yeah, so, and then I would just, of course, we would be very happy if some of the team members could present their idea, as you are the ones who developed it. And yeah, so I would say, let's get started with team A on the low capacity and coordination of the extension providers. I would just basically, just keep the screen sharing on and show this template of the final idea. But if you want to move, just let me know. But in that case, we can really, it's the easiest way if I only share the screen. I will also put on here 3 minutes, just as a reminder of where the time is. So team A, who wants to give us a short overview about what your idea is and how your process was?
Okay, Fabian, thanks. Hi, it's Patty. And I got volunteered at the last second before we jumped. And I would have refused, except our team changed a little bit over the time. And so it was hard for certain team members to necessarily do this. So our idea is about the whole challenge of bringing together private sector and public sector service, let's say rural services in general, together. So the name of our idea is, how do you empower existing platforms? Because most countries have some kind of platforms around agricultural extension. So we're thinking to not start from scratch, but think about how do we empower these platforms to be more effective? And so our idea was, how do we activate and converge existing multi-stakeholder platforms? And how do we get innovation in there, innovative methods to design solutions around finance, technology, communication, and engagement? We feel like those are 4 strategies, if you will, that are really key to introduce into these platforms to bring in innovation. So it is a lot about bringing in the private sector, because a lot of these existing platforms have researchers and government, but bringing the private sector in is particularly challenging. And we want to think about financial institutions and innovative private sector potential to get more private sector. So one way to start small would be to start in a country, do the mapping exercise. What are those existing platforms? Who are the stakeholders? How do you bring them together? We thought the idea of having a champion is really key. Would that be in the Ministry of Agriculture in many places, for example? But you want someone dynamic. And of course, there's the challenge of funding. How do you do that in a sustainable way? And again, if we could engage the private sector in some new ways, using innovative communication, different approaches with social media, with edutainment, really thinking differently about the communication angle. And Gian, did you get a visualization in the last bit? That's brilliant.
Actually, the thanks belongs to Marcelo. Marcelo actually
How those two
Marcelo,
pictures.
well done. Okay, so my observation of a process is we had so many ideas and we saw the connections between them. And Gian was doing a brilliant job of joining the arrows. If you look back at some of our other, this one, oh my gosh, there's a lot in there. This is very cool, and I will keep this and use it in different ways. But the links was one of the powerful things that were coming out in these different ideas. Okay, I'll stop there. I hope that was less than 3 minutes.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, it's really great to see that. Yeah, you managed to somehow or saw the connections between the different ideas which came up, and yeah, also using the things which are already there is also sometimes we tend to develop all the time new things, but there are already things which we can improve, which is also a kind of innovation then, if we are changing and adapting the things which are already there and not only yeah.
Oh, Gian, sorry, and Fabian, I forgot the most important thing. We think this process itself, the problem-solving tool, is just key, and we could introduce that to bring these different actors together. So this problem-solving tool is actually instrumental. So that tells you a little bit about how we feel about the process also.
Great. That's really nice to hear that you already made plans how to or where to apply it. Thank you. After each presentation, we can also have a super short resonance from the audience, if you have any. So is there anything which sparked in you some ideas when you hear this idea, or anything which comes into your mind in the audience? Any remarks? All right. Yeah, I think also, yeah, everyone will have access to this MyRobot, of course, and there will also be a small documentation of the workshop. So you definitely have access to all the knowledge you created and also the other teams have created, and also to the tool itself for further usage. So great, thank you, Team A. Then let's jump to Team B with the same challenge, but different outcome, I assume. So who from the Team B is eager to support the presentation here? Thank you.
Yeah, I will be the presenter from Team B. My name is Atwit from DSR Thailand. Actually, I also the volunteer in the last second to be the volunteer from the group Team B also. Yeah. Yeah, the same challenge, but our root cause is we agree that the root cause of the challenge we select to work on is the lack of the local engagement and contextual reality, and also the lack of trust between the farmers and extension service provider. So yeah, we would like to transform extension service provider to build capacity, to focus on farmer needs and also environmental needs to improve the farmer livelihood with sustainable techniques and stronger connection in the communities. That's why we come up with the ideas. We also brainstorm and a lot of good ideas, innovative ideas, and then we come with the final idea is a field of dreams. So we hope that the field of the farmers will have like a dreams that they can dream about. And yeah, we would like to build a trust building communication platform to strengthen the trust building between farmers and extension service provider. And we also see that the communication is different from it comes from different angles. Sometimes that's why they cannot build the trust. So, but we also think that it may be good that we can use digital tools like AI, for example. Sometimes the farmer might use or even the extension service provider use the ChatGPT to translate and talk in the same language, local dialect with the farmers that might help. Or in the same times, on the other side, the farmer we would like to have like a show and make a farmer visible to the extension service provider and also the other in the society. So maybe the farmer can use like a ChatGPT to help them to write a story about them. Also use like the AI in to help them to communicate, improve the internal communication and build the trust. And also we might have like a catalog of the experience that they can share to the other farmers, between farmer to other farmers. Yep. And what we're gonna start like leverage on the existing AI platforms in specific function. And also we will work with the small communities group of the farmers as a pilot over a year. So the target group will be the farmers and also extension service provider. Yeah. And about the process we learned, I think that is really good process, because we start with the challenge and we try to analyze the root cause and the impact, the effect of the root cause. And after that, we select the priority one and brainstorm and share our ideas and look at the other idea like a inspiration card, that we also see the other new ideas, innovative idea that can combine with us. And after that, we can work on and look at the describe our ideas and select which will be the idea of our group. Yeah. Thank you. That's all from my side, from our team B. Yeah, thumbs up.
Great.
Nice job, Atwit.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I found it really interesting. How different the angles are to this to the same challenge. So where you can basically anchor an idea and develop things forward. I think also some let's say soft things like trust are also often not really looked upon, and I think it's so hard to grasp it. So yeah, I really think it's an interesting approach to combine it and to strengthen it. Are there any comments or thoughts from the other teams regarding the idea of the fields of dreams?
I just have to say, I love the idea of using ChatGPT. You know, this is so new, but it's so powerful, right? And it could have real neat implications to start thinking about asking questions and sharing that information. Oh, nice.
Thank you. Great. If there are no more questions, we slowly move to the next team. So thanks to Team B for all the energy and all right. So these were the first two teams which worked on the exchange between the farmer and also the service providers. The Team C, which we now hear, is focusing on the knowledge exchange, and particularly in the knowledge management. So let's just move to here. So Team C, with what idea did you come up, and who is presenting for now?
Thank you so much, Fabian. I'm Kiganila Ibrahim. I'm representing Team C. As you've already explained, our problem that we are working on is knowledge management practices within extension services are ineffective, causing information to get lost or not leveraged on from improving services and practices. Could you please enlarge? Thank you so much. So the name of our idea is empowerment of smaller holder farmers. To talk about our idea, we want to focus on smaller holder farmers because their number and also their capacity and the challenges they face. So we want to focus on empowerment. So the idea, we want to produce or to produce an enabling environment. Enabling environment encompasses activities like providing incentives for adoption. We can be talking about infrastructure, like farmers want to do soil testing, want to research our extension services are available to provide the best. All those activities available and enabling environment. Then we want to create a healthy flow for all the production chains, that improving the market system, so that when the farmer produces their yields, they can be accessed by a good market, which is consistent and also recognize their effort by providing a better price. But all this, we want to focus on the smaller holder farmers. You can go down. What is needed? We need to improve the communication within the supply chain, within different stakeholders, incentives for adoption, communication systems to be available, then inclusive finances. Gender aspects come from there, credit grants when it's inclusive. Then the stakeholder, we need to integrate the extension providers, that can be the NGO, private sector, and the government. The government, when we talk about the policy aspects, then also the hospitality. Hospitality, now we talk about people who are near the restaurants, the tourism and so on, because smallholder farmers provide healthy foods. When they provide healthy food, they need to be recognized by the right people. How do we want to start this? And you can enlarge this. How we want to start this, we want to do resource mobilization to help with the implementation of this idea. When we start, then we shall do research, that's needs assessment. After research needs assessment, then we do a local unit pilot, holistic solution, then incentivize the mechanism as it has started, where we communicate and within the collaboration of the stakeholders, and then to do monitoring and evaluation to see how has the enabling environment worked, how has the market worked, how has this stakeholder been involved and their contribution. Thank you so much.
Perfect timing. Hey, thank you. Also here, it's really interesting to see that in the end, so it's also coming from knowledge management, but in the end, it's also about exchanging and communicating, so that there are also issues found in the connection between the different stakeholders. So I think that's a really interesting take on this challenge. Thank you. Anyone else? Do you have ideas or things which popped up in your mind while hearing it, this idea?
Team C, is there anything which is left out that you can contribute within the minutes for contribution?
Fabian, Kiganira, thanks. Something that it was super rich. We tried to, if you go there on the brainstorming, we tried to clusterize all these ideas in 4 main things, and then we rewrite the ideas, and then we tried to put all these 4 main ideas in one big idea, because we didn't want to leave any good idea behind. And it was a really good exercise. How can we think holistically about a problem? Thank you very much, the group. You were amazing. We were a big group since the beginning, but we stick firm at the end. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think also it's really great to see that in the end, so this enabling environment, so it also says, also in the name, it already says that it's not only one solution, it has to be connected to other approaches to come to a really enabling moment there. That's great, thank you. Any more thoughts on the idea of Team C? Thank you. Then let's slowly move to the next team. Team D. Oh, it's down here. Also tackling the challenge of knowledge management. So, Team D, who is ready to introduce the idea to us?
Me.
Great.
Yeah.
You could go ahead, Natalia.
Okay. Can I start? Okay. So in our team, from all the stakeholders and ideas, we selected the idea to create a multi-stakeholder group for focus on knowledge management. Our idea is to create a permanent multi-stakeholder group to promote knowledge management and extension services. So this multi-stakeholder group will bring together stakeholders to prioritize knowledge management during the project design. They will identify opportunities to prioritize funding, to focus on knowledge management. They will also undertake participatory inventory mapping of experiences and lessons already learned related to extension services and consolidated all of them in a database. They will also, this group of multi-stakeholders will have a technical secretariat. They will have a rotating coordinator function. I will have an action plan. They will integrate local experts consultants that will encourage to guarantee replicability of knowledge management. They will also this group will also focus on the empowerment of knowledge sharing and local knowledge value, focus on farmers to design extension services sensitive to local dynamics, which was one of our, which the group identified that was one of the main problems. The group can be multi-scale, can be national, regional, community-focused, indigenous. I will pass the word to my colleague Lawrence to continue.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So quickly, I'm going to look at how to start small. We are looking at engaging existing multi-stakeholder groups, then trying to convene them, and then strengthen the virtual platform of knowledge management. And then if our target group were the development partners, and our visualization of the idea is to bring together different stakeholders, and we tried to, you will move it aside a bit, Fabian, for these people to see, looking at people convening both in virtual and physical platforms. That's why we presented it like that. And then I'll just use a few, like 30 seconds to just finalize on the other side. We believe that to commitment, if we are to do it locally, we need commitment to collect knowledge during implementation and manage it properly, and then willingness to change, to ensure that we include knowledge management, and then participating financially in every step of the project, and prioritizing development and knowledge sharing. And of course, would like to thank everyone who was part of the group, and especially James, who was our coach. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, are there any comments on the idea of Team D? Gian writes, there are some interesting synergies between A and D. Do you want to elaborate on that a bit?
Exactly. I found some of the points back in our discussion as well, as we're also in Team A of course, ended up looking at multi-stakeholder platforms. How can we activate, converge them, of course, use the rich knowledge of the different stakeholders and synthesize it. And so, yeah, we were also thinking about this virtual physical worlds, how we can combine it and also use this knowledge in a database for future solutions. And I think here it fits very well to this knowledge management perspective, but also kind of bringing together stakeholder and then activating the knowledge.
Thank you. Yeah, I think often we tend to see only from let's say one organization viewpoint on things. So I think that's also especially the knowledge management point is really different from which angle you look at it, from which organization. So I think the exchange in between stakeholders regarding this might be really a game changer if you have to bring them together. Any more thoughts on the multi-stakeholder group idea? So thank you, Team D, for your idea and the presentation. Then let's have a look at Team E and F, which were combined. Which was I think you worked on the Team E idea, I assume, yes. So here we have all about the money. So it's the question of and the challenge of the insufficient funding, which the team worked on and also then joined during the 3-day to tackle the challenge together. Who wants to present from your team? Any volunteers?
Yeah, I can do it, but I'll be supported with one of my colleagues, Valeria.
Great, thank you.
Okay, can you probably show our page before you click on the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So here we go. Well, thank you so much. And yes, we were focusing this thinking around, are we coming from the financial perspective? And we thought that this will help to connect all of the dots. So we have a public and corporate finance perspective in what we have constructed. And it's also worth mentioning that in our team, there were people with experience, but at least two team members that have worked directly, either implementing or evaluating extension services, which was very, very helpful. So it's what I'm going to show you. It's a kind of a story that goes from bottom to top, and the end goal is to enable multi-stakeholder collaboration to mobilize funding for supporting extension services. So, and the title is Extension Services by Design, because we thought that we need to invest more in the design of the extension service packages, which also should include a business model which is profitable to be sustainable. And that model will encapsulate most of the things that other groups have proposed in these conversations. So we start there first for the design of the business model. But before continuing, before I forget, we have a little problem, or try to clarify the initial part of the question, because how can we know that funding is insufficient if we don't know exactly how much we need and what is it needed for? So it's something that we have to bear in mind when we when we do this. So we start by designing the package, the extension services model and business approach. Then we need to understand how much is needed. We need to assess our financial needs and determine what is the financial gap compared to what money that is available. We move to make the case for the investment, demonstrate the rate of return. What is the government going to get out of this and what the private sector is going to get out of this investment? Design and propose policy reform referring to management and investment policy. And after that, with all those elements in place, we can discuss and engage multi-stakeholders to help diversifying financial mechanisms, multiple financial mechanisms, not only donations, and with clear roles and responsibilities. That's what we managed to develop. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I really liked your point on not only starting with the challenge, but asking the question where the challenge, where it comes from. So really thinking about where do we know this from? So where do we get the information of insufficient funds and so on? I think also that the challenge starts even earlier, maybe in monitoring existing spendings on things. So that's I found really smart to raise this question there. Any more thoughts from the group regarding the extension services by design? I think also the approach to build business models as a way of funding, it's really, I think the idea is there, but I can imagine that a lot of funding structures are still not with a business model in the beginning thought. So it's really interesting. Any reflections? Maybe also from the team itself on the process or anything?
Well, something that came up many times in our discussions was the need to involve the private funding in this system. So not only relying on public funding, but developing mechanisms to attract private investors, even customers to this investment in these kind of programs.
Mm-hmm.
Was very interesting to hear.
Okay, thank you. All right. If there are no more thoughts on the presentation, I would zoom out. Great. Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation, for the ideas and all the energy you put into it. I think even though these digital tools are making it easier to work together online, I think there are challenges and everyone has kind of the moments I can imagine where you really have to step out of your comfort zone a bit. And so really thank you for trying this experiment with us together and sharing the insights and also being open to the perspectives of the other groups. And I would say there is the functionality of reaction, so you can actually applaud here, but I would say let's try to unmute ourselves and give ourselves a bit of a clapping and appreciation for the last 3 days which we had. So I think it was really really amazing how you go through this. So thank you very much and applause to you all.
Thank you, Fabian. And yeah, wondering if it's okay to stop sharing the screen so that we can have a final look at each other. And yeah, for those of you who can, if you can open your videos so that we can see each other for a few more minutes. We're almost there. And so, yeah, we're entering into the final 15 minutes. Thank you so much, Fabian, for holding us together through these past 3 days and for the amazing time management. Thank you also to the internal team, Lavinia, Valeria, obviously Gian as well. They've been instrumental in putting this workshop together, and it's been a work of a year, actually. So yeah, I really want to be appreciative of your efforts. And Carlota, thank you as well for your technical support. And all the coaches, you've done an amazing job. And I hope you really feel how essential you are in this process, and how much teams benefit from your guidance and shepherding. So thank you very much. We are now going to share with you a link to a post-workshop survey. If you can please take 5 minutes to fill that out, because as we said, you know, with this kind of interventions, it is really important to capture what's been good about it, what's been helpful, and also if there are any points of improvement and things that we can continue fine-tuning. It would be really great to hear your thoughts on this so that we can understand if, you know, if this is something that we should continue running and offering, and to what extent, at which level. I'm also taking notes, Patty, to connect with you further. And yeah, while we take 5 minutes, maybe going through that survey, after those 5 minutes, we'll have just a quick sharing in plenary, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Malika, is there a way to continue the discussion? Certainly. Do you mean the group discussion, or do you mean the group discussion? Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Oh, you're unmuted.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Okay, no worries.
I meant the discussion, like those presentation, continue the discussion with everybody.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Do you mean here right now, or after this session you would like to continue?
After the session.
Yeah, and what would you like to discuss more of? That would be interesting here.
Yeah, like for example, because now only in 3 days we did. It's true. They were with all of us. There were a lot of ideas, and it was. I felt we needed some more time to refine a few things, but it would be nice to know if someone tried to implement this process, or if we try to implement actually what we discussed for extension service. So both ways. It's like the process in itself, and also the ideas that were discussed for the extension service. I am interested and I'm curious.
Yeah, excellent. And we definitely welcome that. So thank you for sharing it. And I think what we can do at this point is, with Lavinia and Valeria, we can take note of this and connect with you further. And then we can make sure that we funnel that conversation rightly, you know, in terms of who else to invite and how we can help you continue in that process. And please, you know, if anyone else would like to join, just raise your hand and we're more than happy to invite you as well to join this conversation with Malika. So let us know on the chat or over email, and we can convey like a follow-up discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Malika. Yes, Lawrence, over to you.
Sorry, I was saying I'm also interested in possibly having a follow-up discussions with because you see 3 days sometimes you may not be able to share enough or understand a few other things and dynamics that you can reapply in the work that we do. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we're taking note then of Kiganida, Lawrence, and Malika, and we can convey a small follow-up group. And we can also post this on the digital platform of our community of practice, so that anyone that wants to follow the conversation from a slightly more distanced place, but still be in the loop of it, we can share some updates. Thank you, Marlon, for your contributions. And yeah, if you can, as I said, you know, take 5 minutes to fill out that survey, and we will keep on sharing some other reflections and insights. But maybe let's take 2 or 3 more minutes to fill out that survey. And please, for those of you who managed to complete the survey, if you can just use your Zoom hand and raise it, just so that we know that you've finished it. Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. We've got Karen, we have Valeria, we have Maria Jose. Fantastic, thank you. We have Patricia. We have Tassila as well. Janina, James, Carlota. Thank you very much. Teresa, fantastic. For the rest of you, please feel free to take a few more minutes. And yeah, in the meantime, if there's anything, for those of you who have finished, if there's anything else that you would like to share, we have still a couple of more minutes before we say our goodbyes. If there's any reflection, any learning, any insight that you would like to share, also whether, you know, how you see this 3 days potentially enriching your work, moving forward, feel free to just open your mic and share.
Hi.
Hello, Tassila.
Yes, I think for me, my interest was already shared on the first day when Patricia talked about taking this to project level, and I would be very interested to move forward with our FOLUR project in Ethiopia. So getting some practical steps. I know that we have a meeting tomorrow with them, but getting a quick plan of action on how we can activate that particular FOLUR project will be very helpful. So I'm looking forward to that. And also, I think it would be nice for this exercise to happen at project level in different areas. because the contexts are going to be different for each location and the struggles may be different as they begin to implement. So bringing stakeholders together using this methodology kind of unifies the way the program needs to get the child projects moving.
Yes, indeed. Excellent. Thank you. And Lavi and Valeria, if you can kindly help me with taking notes of this and potentially reconnecting with Tassila and Patricia on this, that would be fantastic, because I think there is value in exploring this further, as you've suggested. So yeah, more to come on that. Thank you. Anyone else that would like to share anything?
I would love to say, you know, when I went to Brazil earlier this year, I was sort of going, wow, you know, it's so impressive how they're moving towards regenerative ag, but it was on quite a big scale. And of course, many of our challenges are the small scale. And it's not totally true, right, Christiana? I know you've got the two very different sectors. But what's powerful for me is the cross-learning from a successful institution like Embrapa, and you guys coming in and sharing, you know, your stories and experiences. So, you know, if we're doing something in Ethiopia, let's not forget some of the cross connections, because I think that's really powerful to have, you know, like you guys as coaches involved. If we go forward, say in Ethiopia or another country, that would be very powerful, I think.
You know, Patricia, we have the same challenges, you know, because Brazil, of course, it's big, it's a continent, but 70% of our farmers are small. So we just don't have most of them. So sharing like this is super rich, and I've learned a lot with the people in the group. So thank you all, and let's share more, of course.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much. And yes, I agree, Patricia, fully. This the diversity of thinking, and to a certain extent, that is the thing that the virtual setting allows much more easily, to bring people from all over the place, all over the world, and just bring them together. Yeah, how do we sustain that? How do we sustain that over time, or how do we continue leveraging on that vast experience? And in the case of Embrapa, I think it's been absolutely amazing to have you joining this workshop. And you've been so generous with your time, with your energy, and with your knowledge that, yeah, it's just brilliant. So thank you very much. James, I'm wondering if there's anything that you might want to share. I'm really curious to hear how you experienced this 3 days. If you think any of this could be of help for Peru.
Thank you, Sole. Yes, I've certainly enjoyed as well these. I think from the beginning, when we had to dig deeper into the root cause, that was enlightening for us to identify some of those root causes behind ineffective knowledge management. And if I look at those root causes and then look at our final idea that we selected, which is related to participatory multi-stakeholder platforms for knowledge management, it's really about horizontal exchange. It's about democratizing the access to and use of knowledge, and it's about power dynamics. One of the colleagues in the team actually mentioned that in the initial root causes. We talked about knowledge as power, and how to begin to deal with that power and facilitate access to knowledge to also be able to share power among different stakeholders. And so I think that there's an interesting feedback loop or virtuous circle between what our end idea was and also some of those root causes that we identified a couple of days ago. So I found that to be very enriching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. And I would add to that feedback loop that going through this experience and methodology, this is a methodology that ultimately also wants to address power dynamics by opening up the space for inclusive participation. You know, the idea of the way in which this workshop was structured, mixing people from different backgrounds, putting them in small groups, having a coach that's external to that, facilitating the process, potentially unaware of any power dynamics that might be pre-existing because you come as a stranger to the process. So all of that from a methodology perspective and the workshop design perspective can also, I think, enrich that point that you were talking about, you know, how do we use this as a way of balancing power dynamics or influencing power dynamics? You just made me reflect on that as well. So thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our awareness. And time's up, and we want to let you go on time, but please do feel free to reach out to us bilaterally if there's anything else that's been left unsaid. And if there are any other conversations that you wish to continue, we are very keen to do so. It's been an absolute pleasure one more time. I don't get tired of saying it. And I really, really hope that this has been as inspiring to you as it has been to me and to us as a team. So thank you very, very much.